There comes a point where you have to realize that not all these people can be wrong about one person. That person's got to be wrong too. They can't all just be saying, oh, I have this problem with him. I have this problem with him. They can't all be wrong. They can't all be lying. They can't all just be making stuff up and, oh, woe is me. They can't. And so when are you just going to finally just turn around and go, okay, maybe the problem lies somewhere else, And when I was a kid, I'd always say, oh, that kid started it. Or that kid did this, because I was always fighting in school. And finally, my dad sat me down and goes, look, son, it can't always be the other kid. So what are you doing? Well, I'm sorry. I'm using that same line right now because it can't always be everyone else that did.
All right, so let me switch this around for you. So does Ariel sit in a position that all of them want to be in? If you're going to sit here and take a look and say, let's see, Ariel's worked for ESPN. Do other reporters want to work for ESPN? Yeah, most. If you're into sports, absolutely. Yeah, you do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you want to have your own show the way he has his own show and have all the people that are coming on his show and be the guy that's able to interview all these guys? Yeah, you do. That's part of being a reporter. Is no different than if you're a fighter and you see someone, you go, I want to fight him. Now, I may not be prepared to fight him, but I want to fight him eventually. Ariel's in that position. You can't make everybody happy.
This is true.
You can't. It just doesn't work that way. There's too many personalities. Mm-hmm. You could be a great guy, and there's going to be someone, a Sean Strickland, who goes, "You're a douchebag." Okay, yeah. Because there's people out there that are going to say that the same in reverse. I think Sean is hysterical. I think he is, crazy. I think he does things that are, completely different than everybody else. And there's times I think, you know what, he's probably wrong, but I love listening to him. I love watching him fight. It's just when you're Ariel, you're going to get the people that, everyone's going to have their shot after a while. And because everyone's going after it, and I'm just going to say it, when it comes to the reporting part, he's number one. And that's why they're all shooting at him.
But the bottom line is he brought up something that had nothing to do with the Schmo. It just had to do with Sean Strickland saying it on the Schmo show. So that's what this was. This was after the fact. And so that's my point. My point is that Ariel's quick to pull the gun on something. And then it expects everyone else to be like, oh, well, it wasn't my fault because he said it on someone else's show. Look, so the Schmo was exactly where Ariel was when he came stumbling into AKA, asking me to go beg Kane and other people for interviews. The Schmo is now, at Xtreme Couture, asking fighters for interviews, doing his legwork, doing what Ariel used to do. And now that Ariel's gotten better at where he's at and earned everything he's done. I get that. Okay. I understand that. I'm not denying that.
He did it through hard work.
But don't be that guy.
I'm not saying people didn't give him opportunities, but he did it through hard work.
Oh, everyone gave him opportunities.
Okay, but he did it. But he worked, and he worked his butt off trying to do it.
No, I get it. I do understand. Look, I said,
I can't take anything away from someone when they work hard.
I'm not taking it away from him, John, but it comes to the point where it can't always be everyone else's fault. And it's gotten to the point where Ariel legitimately now is on there almost every other week whining about so-and-so or saying something about so-and-so. And the whole heel thing was fun, but the problem is it continues to add up. And that's the crappy part about it all. It's like you get to a point where, look, you are good. There's no doubt. You do your research. You are good. No one's denying that. But it gets also to a point where it can't always be somebody else that has a problem. It's always somebody else. No, it's not always someone else. And that's the part that kind of bugs me the most is like, it's not always somebody else's problem with you. You've had some input on this. And he knows it. And and here's the thing is for people like myself, like it's easy for me to turn around and go, you know what? I'll beat him up. Come on. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. But then, no, what I'm just saying, that's the thing. Fighters, their natural reaction is like, oh, I'll beat him up. The Schmo, I don't even know if he trains, but I'm saying like,
the Schmo grapples.
If he was to say that, it's like, now you're a bully. But it's like, no one wants to beat Ariel up. No one gives a crap. It's like, no, there needs to be like some sort of dialogue. And that's the problem is that I've had words with him to his face and he has nothing to say. And I just say like, oh, now it's like, hey, what's going on? Like, is there a problem? No, there's no problem. No, I never had a problem with Yuta. But then obviously in front of the camera, it changes. And that's the problem. It can't always be somebody else's fault. There's got to be like, hey, if you want to have a conversation, let's talk. I'm always, John, I'm always open to conversation. I've had a conversation with somebody just recently at a restaurant here in San Jose. I walked right up and what did I say? I said, what did I say to the guy at the restaurant that we met? We were with all the other managers. Yeah. I walked right up and I said, hey, is there any issue? Can we have a conversation? There's no issue at all. I'm actually glad that we had a chance to talk about it. And we moved on. The rest of the evening was pleasant. We had a great night. We had a great dinner. We had great drinks. We talked. We had a great time. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It never gets resolved like that. It gets resolved over these platforms where it's in front of the microphone when it should just be talked about. If you have an issue, no, I don't have an issue. That's it. Like, let's figure it out. Okay. And that's the problem that I have. Like I said, it goes back to, it can't always be somebody else's fault. It eventually has got to be yours. Or you've got to have some sort of you got to have some sort of input on this that's leading people to believe this about you or be this way about you. Because it's not just reporters. It's not just reporters, it's fighters too. That's the other part. It's not just reporters.